by the millage increase we discussed. And I'm trying my best to not bother you about it, but looking at the revenue generation from last year and increasing the millage to 5.829 should have generated about $832,000. Is that about right?
Over last year,
Yeah.
yes. Over the increase, by not going with the rollback, the 1.5 million is generated from not going with the rollback.
But the two combined, not going with rollback, plus the additional ad valorem revenues would be around $820,000.
Compared to last year.
Yes, okay. So that's what we're talking about, moving from general budget into Parks and Rec.
I guess it would go from
You
general
know, the
budget.
half mil, a mil produces 2.8, so half mil would be 1.4.
Okay, so half mil of it, so not the full amount.
Yes.
Okay, so just to be clear, how much was that amount you're moving?
1.4 million.
1.1 million. Okay.
Sandy, in Eric's budget, under the salary and wages line, is that for a bunch of extra people, or is this the amount of the raises he's proposing?
To be honest, I don't have that spreadsheet in front of me, and he had a doctor's appointment, but he is planning on getting here after his appointment, so
Okay, I'll
we
say
will,
that.
I don't have that spreadsheet in front of me as far as the breakdown. I think there were some additional personnel requested.
Okay. All right, I wondered if he gets here.
The only adjustments on this version, between this version and the last version y'all looked at were the retirement updates. I think that's the only, and then I, separated some things out based on our discussions at the last meeting.
Stacy, I know you've got extra people in your salary and wages line, but I've forgotten how many.
I think it's 6 on the sheriff,
Sure, I'll
I think
say.
it's 6, 4 deputies, a detective, and
The inventory.
the evidence custodian.
Yeah. Oh, if I look in the notes column, it's got it right here.
I'm glad you got it for sure,
I
cause
tried to make notes because I can't remember. I have to remind myself. Charlie, Rhonda's got the information on Eric's, and he wanted to hire a total of 4 new people. So the number that we're seeing on the spreadsheet is 4 additional people plus the increases for the current folks.
Question. Since we're doing retirement, is the salary quite as much?
I don't remember what this number has anymore. What increases, we went across the board here, ain't on if the last version was
There's so many of them.
and I think she
Did you like?
Yeah.
That's included in these numbers.
Yeah. COLA, did you do the COLA in there?
Patrick did all of those calculations for me and just provided me with the numbers because he met with each of the departments to discuss. So,
He's got one
well, he did his salary studies, and he tried to get some of the folks that were not comparable up to close to comparable, and then did COLAs on top of those. And I think, think it was an across the board percentage for the COLAs. But I would have,
We did
it's
all
all-
that too.
So my question, Byron, is that we're doing the retirement, which is a big chunk, and doing this increase in salary. Is there a way to not quite do the salary increase and still include the,
So
Retirement.
according to Patrick and his pay study and our pay study, we're almost exactly the same. The raise that we have asked for just in salary raises gets us to what the surrounding counties are currently making.
so not all surrounding counties are doing the retirement? I know a lot, I know some aren't.
A lot of
I
them
know the
are.
ones that are pulling are guys are.
Yes.
I'm just trying to,
And the bad part about all that is, if we don't pay at least what the other counties are paying, the other people is gonna be in this one anyway, because they're not coming.
I'm just trying to figure
I,
out.
yes,
I know.
we understand it's
I know.
There's
just,
only so much in the pocket.
Yes,
But
we
it-
totally understand that.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, this just gets us to where they currently are, and, you know, they're gonna get raises again this year too, surrounding counties are, but we need to just stop the bleeding a little bit. Yeah, it's a retention thing.
Yeah, we get, well, that's why we're really pushing that retirement.
I mean, you know, so I don't know if your numbers include the ambulance side and those new people or not.
The what?
The fifth med unit,
Yeah, they do.
they do include it.
She's saying no.
They do. I said, don't you?
well, it's down at the very bottom, it's not included in those numbers up top. Does not include the fifth med unit.
Where's the bottom number?
I included it at the bottom of the sheet,
The bottom of
the
the,
fire department's
okay,
individual
right.
sheet, and just noted that if we did add that fifth med unit, that's how much additional would be needed.
Staffing and equipment for additional ambulance. Okay, that's good.
That is not included in the numbers of the
And we are having one will come in that we need
Well, a
to.
truck will come in, it's gonna be up to you guys if you would like to get a fifth med unit up and running or not. If I'm being honest, if it's between giving the raises we've asked for, opening the fifth med unit, three of us are, we need the raises. Because if we don't get that, we're not staffing the fifth med unit. We don't have to be there.
But then we have a med unit just sitting there.
Well, it would.
Or it'll be in
It
circulation.
It would be put into rotation, yes, ma'am. As a spare.
Well, dang. What?
See, look at fire.
Look at fire.
Look at fire, go up to the very bottom number. 7.8. See there? 7802,
Yes,
that's the number that's included, the one, that 8.9.
correct. 7.8 is the one that's reflected on the summary page.
Is it in this, is that in that 2.898?
The additional med unit number? Amount?
The-
Oh, no. I'm sure. Sorry. Sorry. It's not.
Sandy,
Yes.
any idea how Ryan is reducing his salary line item?
We had that discussion. Let me see what it is. Let me see what my note is there. I think we had. I think we had some additional people built in the request for 25 that I guess he decided he doesn't need now. So, it's just reduced basically by one person. just because he had an additional person built in for 25, and
Okay.
I think feels like he's fully staffed now for 20, going forward, so.
Do you know what the factor is for the raises?
Well, I've asked Patrick and he hasn't responded yet, so I'm gonna wait to get a response from him. I believe, I'll get him to confirm, I believe it was 5, but I'll get him to confirm that. Yeah.
Any idea why Jody is reducing his line item?
Some reasons, he had an additional person built in to his budget for 25, and the current staff that he has are doing fine, so he doesn't feel the need to add anybody for 26.
Remind me on retirement, is that the max it could be, or is that what we're paying, the max?
That's the max, that's projected. I mean, that's the worst it could be.
It's close. I know,
Well, we knew it would be, but
Yeah.
it's all overdue.
yeah, oh, I totally agree, totally agree.
Payroll and benefits.
Are we talking about retirement across the board for every department or just some departments in this moment?
Across the board.
So all county employees would get a retirement benefit increase.
Give us a number that's the worst. That could be now.
That's in there. The,
Seems like,
yeah, that is, because that's the only way to calculate it.
Yeah.
The total number was like 900, and the existing was 200, so it's around 700. So it's not easy to take it out, which I'm not told it.
more than 700.
It's not that,
This is where it starts going funny. It's like- But I'm not, I agree.
Sandy, under the capital requests for elections, we have 2 computers and printers.
Yes.
We could take that out and say that we're gonna fund that from the
For this year,
capital item.
for 25, or just move it up to for 26, okay.
since you're on capital, I asked Ryan about the generator, that number's still in there, and I think that's gonna come down. But I don't have anything definite from him about that. He was,
I'm reading this right. We only have to cut it $300.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And that, we just got $2,400.
In that, whatever, he needs to tell us whatever's going to be about that big generator.
Yeah.
And that would more than take care of all that, which the other side of that needs to do. But
Well,
he said he had some other ideas for that, but I don't know what the numbers are.
Courts.
they have state.
They don't squirrely.
I think the courts probably can get qualified for state retirement, but I'm not sure.
I was gonna bring that up, where these retirement numbers are concerned. Patrick has included like the DA's office and Superior Court offices and that kind of thing. They do, have a state retirement as well, so I don't know how this pension plan with the county would apply to those with the state retirement option, so I've got to get some clarification on that from
And yet,
Judge Weaver's office.
the numbers are in here as if we're giving it. to
Yes,
them, but
yes, so those could come
we
back.
don't, yeah,
They could come back.
that's a,
Well, I don't see us giving both retirements.
No,
right.
no, that's why I'm saying the number, I've got to talk to Judge Weaver's, Angela Norris, I've got to talk to Angela to see how a county pension plan would, if it would even apply to the, court-related offices like VA's office and.
Even if it would, though, we're trying to get a retirement plan for people who have none. So to me, anybody that qualifies for state retirement, we shouldn't be paying in insurance.
I agree.
Double dipping.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I know that with the Judge Weaver, with the judges and with the DA's office, the majority of their employees are state employees, therefore they have state retirement. Some of their employees only have, or only their county paid. I know, like pre-trial probation, I don't know if that's its own thing or if that's under the courts, but they are county funded.
Well, so to me, any of them that's county funded, so they would not qualify for state retirement. We should put enough in there to cover those who are county funded for retirement. But those who qualify for state retirement, I don't think we should double up on.
Helps a little. We need everything right now. So,
Do we have a revised number on workers' comp?
I need to
Workers'
talk to
comp.
I need to get you to look at some of that stuff with me if you don't mind.
Our spirit fund went down a little, so that's a big help, it's not a result of fault.
One thing that I would suggest, and it's not gonna be very popular, but I don't see how we balance without it. The raises in here typically are running about 5%. I would suggest that we do 3% across the board.
I haven't gotten a response. I think the COLA increases were figured at 5%. Most of them were figured at 5%, and that's what I was trying to get confirmation from Patrick on.
Those figures that I'm seeing, ones that specify are 5%. So if it's a COLA and it's 5% for some, it should be 5% for everybody then.
I think it was.
So I would suggest we do 3% across the board.
Can you see what that?
number shows.
Just from some quick calculations that I've been doing, and I don't trust this to be anywhere near exact, but I think I'm in the ballpark. Right now, we have to cut $2,898,090. That would bring us down to having to cut $1,506,910.
So much better.
So it's better.
I'm still adding back to 1126 for the fifth ambulance.
No, I didn't take that out.
That's not, she says it's not her bottom number.
That $2 million, that $2.8 million number at the top of it.
But it was included at the bottom in the total.
I know.
I did not include the additional bed unit because that number hasn't been included anywhere.
Hang on. That's going to not be good.
No, it's not.
But I agree on. taking down
Five is strong
Okay.
compared to the.
I'll have to get-
On the short end of that one,
I'll have to-
Well, that's going to be more than a year.
That's what my number
But
is.
they're still getting a raise.
My number is.
They just kind of understand that a lot of their raises in retirement.
The number I'm talking about is at the very bottom of 5, it's on the second page of 5.
Yes, it's kind of tired. And that's what I'm thinking of too, I remember it.
That, she's saying that number is not.
If that's over, that number is over.
I'd love for her to tell us this number.
Did you do the math?
No, I can't, I hadn't had, no, I hadn't had all that over.
Yeah.
I'm with you, but she's got
That
that.
means that's not at the top. You mean it's not in here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let her.
We need help down
Let's go
here.
back.
All right, here's what I'm having. I know they say this is not included.
This number here is what's on that summary page in the beginning that reflects the 2.8. This is not included because,
This doesn't, this is the sum of these two, but this is not what's plugged in under the.
right, just this is what it would be if
Well-
that additional med unit was added. This is what's currently on the summary sheet.
We don't have any choice but to add that additional mid unit, so we need to go ahead and plug this number in.
Stuff it also.
No point in having it if you're not gonna. say
Well,
it.
that number would stack,
Can I
yeah.
interject on that?
Yeah.
If we're gonna cut something, cut the med unit and all associated costs with it.
So
Just
you,
cut that med unit and all associated costs with it. And I know that that's a big, you guys, talked about it openly, but at the end of the day, here's the reality. We're currently 13 positions short. We've had 2 other people say they're turning in their notices this week. That's an entire shift gone right now. And if we can't pay the folks and get them to where surrounding counties are, right now, Med 11 up in White Path has not been staffed more than 50% of the time since January 1st.
Is that one of our 4 regular?
That's one of our full records. We don't have people. The only way we're able to be fully staffed every day is on overtime, which is why our overtime budget is been annihilated over the past year. It's because we've lost people, and the only way to staff trucks is through overtime. And that's not gonna be sustainable over the next year, because the guys are just they're working to death. They're working 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row sometimes. And I know that that 5th med unit is important to a lot of people, but from our perspective, we do run out of med units occasionally, probably once or twice a week. Right now at most, that's because we've got 3 running most of the time and not 4. The days we have 4, we rarely ever run out of anymore. And that's just a reality of where we're at.
Well, that's 1.1,
That's
1.1
1.126.
million, a little over 1.1 million. We could, I guess we could take 1.1 million out of the sheriff's budget.
I'm sitting over, I got my calculator going to tell you my woes here in just a minute.
But Sandy's saying that number's not even in.
Yeah, it's not, so.
But if it gives another working ambulance that is not tired,
But we can
you'll
still
use
put
it
the
in.
ambulance in the rotation,
Right.
it just won't be a
Right.
5th ambulance.
Gotcha. And there's not to say that we can't shut down an engine sometimes when we lose, when we're out of med units and put another ambulance up. But we're talking, there's an additional 12 people in that to be able to staff that ambulance. Well, we're already 15 positions short, so we're 26 people that we have to hire just to get that truck up and running. And, we can try to poach people from other places, but if we're paying less than everybody around us, they're not coming. Or we can do recruit schools. Well, one recruit school's 10 months to get somebody else. So you're a year away, and the most we can do in one recruit school is 12. And so that's
And
just.
yet, if we bring it up to this dollar value, this pay, you're gonna be able to hire the other additional?
We could hire
I
the
mean, I know you
15.
can't say for sure,
We
but
can hire the 15, but an additional 12, I think it's probably still gonna take a recruit school. And we won't have that truck.
you can what, hire 15, but
We
not.
could probably, if we come up to that pay, we can get most of the people in the door that we need, of what we're currently short. Now, the additional personnel to staff this 5th med unit, I don't know that there's 26 people in this entire area that are looking for jobs. You know, that are looking to move on somewhere.
That have the certifications.
Yeah, that have
That we
the
require.
certifications to do that.
But you would be able to fill the positions that you're short right now, you think?
Yes,
And I'm
sir.
looking at all of you.
Yes, yes.
We're confident in that. Now, there's no 100%.
Sure.
I can't sit here and say 100%. But with the retirement that is being proposed, and if we can get just to what everybody else is making, Gilmer's a great place to work, and people love working here. Everybody that's left so far has said they hated leaving because they love the environment that's here, but they can't pass up $10,000 more a year to drive an extra 15 minutes, and I don't blame them. You know, but if we can get to this number, and other counties raise, 2 or 3, 4, 5%, I don't think we lose anybody for that. You know, our guys aren't gonna leave for a couple $1,000s, but they're gonna leave for 10, they're gonna leave for 12. And that's where we're at right now. But I think that we'll get more people back in the door. Because we've had, Mr. Pearson and I had that conversation, some of the people that have left have said that if we can get some of those things right, they would love to come back, but it's about supporting their families at this point.
So would it be fair to say that the salary line item for the fire department is not based on 5% COLA, it's just based on whatever it takes to get us up to the other counties?
It's based on the study, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It's based on the study that HR did, and we did kind of side by side, and we compared our numbers and kind of met right there in the middle. Actually, HR was a little bit higher than we were as far as our estimations, so we went right there in the middle, and that gets us to what every other county, the average of what every county around us is making. Fannon's making about what we are right now, but, you're talking about Dawson is a different animal. We know that. We're not really comparing ourselves to Dawson, but we're competing with Murray, we're competing with Pickens, we're competing with some of those counties right now, and that's honestly where they're paying, and we're losing people to those places right now.
And I won't be long-winded, I promise. Our 5% is not a 5% COLA. It's a 2% COLA with a 3% increase in starting pay. So increase starting pay and not get in compression with your folks who have been here. We raise them an additional 2. It does equal 5. Can we talk and negotiate and work? Yeah, probably we can. But just real quickly, I wanna throw in our 2 cents worth. We, looking at if you take the holiday pay that everyone gets, that's a benefit, adding that into their salary. A new deputy in Gilmer County would start out at $54,473, and you say, wow, 20 years ago, I'd be like, wow, we'll never get to $50,000. $54,473. Pickens County, if we got correct information, but it came directly from upper echelon of their administration, they will be going next year to starting pay at $60,000. That's obviously 15-minute drive. Forsyth County, which is a 40-minute drive, very doable. They're starting out a deputy sheriff at $68,000. Same qualifications of the people I'm looking for. So we are fighting the same battles.
Probably the same in Cherokee.
I didn't even check them, but yeah, they're close. Forsyth County is the mecca on salaries. There's no doubt. They will be higher than Cherokee. Cherokee's going to be somewhere between Pickens and Forsyth. And it's not about keeping up with the Joneses. I've heard that. It's a reality. We have to be able to have a competitive salary. We can probably do some adjusting to some degree, because I do understand the position all we're in. You've got this request and that money, and somehow we got to get there. And I'll do what I can do. I just want to throw that out there as
And we want to
are
pay these
fighting
guys,
that
we
battle.
want to pay these men and women this
and
money.
Again, same from us. We're not sitting here trying to be negative. We're presenting you with the
No,
facts and the information.
we need
that we have.
reality.
And ultimately, you gotta make a decision, and we're gonna do the best we can with whatever we get. It's not gonna change what we do every day. workers, maybe it was less people. But we've been there
It's
before.
not okay.
Well, something I mentioned to Sandy, I don't know where the 5% came in, but in my department, they were only looking at giving us 3% for my workers. So we weren't even at a 5%. That was straight from
And that
Patrick.
may be the case, it's been a while since Patrick and I talked about this, and like I said, I got these numbers from him, so I'm gonna confirm what the actual percentages were for the different departments. I feel like it was the same across the board, but I need to confirm that with him.
I hear what they're saying, but we've needed that fifth ambulance forever, and it's not getting any better. I don't have fun about the stuff, and I think we need to sleep on that idea before we throw that out.
Well, it's a sad fact that you don't get $3 million worth of cuts from the $200,000 budgets. You know, it's gotta come from the big budgets.
We got $4.1 million sitting in Parks and Rec between the millage rate increase and the, what's in the savings account. That'll more than cover what the sheriff and the fire chief here need. That's what you promised Gilmer County citizens you were gonna get us. Public safety would be taken care of. Why are they having to grovel for the money you have sitting there for a want when they need it? That's my only outburst.
Well, you know, we could also say that rather than being the 7th lowest property tax county of 159, we could go up to maybe the 11th or 12th lowest and be able to do that as well.
When you issue your general obligation bonds, we might be there. Then we have that debt, plus our public safety officials are short the equipment they need, and the staff they need.
Well, this is probably going to come as a surprise to some of the people here, but it's public. We don't have $4.1 million in the recreation budget.
$2.7 million, according to Sandy's numbers, sitting in a savings account. And we just heard about another $1.4 million that is looking to be scraped from millage towards the Parks and Rec budget. So that, as far as, my layman's understanding, that's $4 million.
Well, say it next time. You might as well tell them what happened to it, so.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, that we don't need that money.
Well, then it's not there anymore.
Right,
Okay.
yes.
As of about, 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
We do not have 4.1 million in the recreational budget. We do have a new what will be a new recreational facility. And the county has purchased the White Path Fab Tech building on industrial with the intention that that will become the recreational facility.
Let me get this straight. This county has decided that buying an additional property for Parks and Rec that will serve some citizens over funding our public safety officials, you're making them grovel. You've chosen that over them. And that's over what you promised us as citizens that we understood we were getting, because public safety is for all of us.
I agree.
So you all made a decision behind some closed doors somewhere that was more important to us than what you promised us.
No.
Because I know, should I read? Andy wrote the articles. He could tell you what you promised us.
We still are planning to make sure that public safety is taken care of.
You said 15 employees in an ambulance. Now I'm hearing no ambulance will take what we can get.
I think what you're hearing too is that we probably couldn't get those employees in any event.
But you can get a $4 million
No,
building.
That's not what I'm saying. That the pool of prospective employees with those skills would not be there.
So they get $4 million plus whatever the general obligation bonds produce. That's what we're giving Parks and Rec. We're taking it from our sheriff's department and we're taking it from our
Okay,
fire. I just want to be clear what you're saying because I don't want to get out there and spread misinformation. I want to be clear
well,
what
I
you're
think
saying.
it would be
It's happening.
misinformation if you say that we're making a choice to harm public safety. We're not, but I think what a whole lot of people are guilty of, let's say, is this whole concept of, I don't want it, I don't need it, therefore nobody else does either. There are over 32,000 people in this county, and there's a lot of them that the recreational facility is just as important to them as anything else is to you.
We weren't promised a Parks and Rec facility to the public in exchange for voting for SPLOST. We were promised public safety. We were promised an ambulance and 15 employees.
Until we decide what's going on here, it's premature to say you're not gonna have public safety.
Well, you'll be lucky if you don't see a citizen lawsuit over this.
That's what you want.
Because you put articles in the paper promising us what we were going to get. Citizens
think
voted
that-
understanding what they were going to get. Either you knew and you kept it from us.
No.
Well,
We're
obviously, because you're just breaking the news to us now. And that didn't just happen. Nobody put a contract in that building yesterday.
Actually, somebody did yesterday.
You know the contract process began long before yesterday.
And you should know too, that anytime something like a county or a large business or whatever is negotiating for any kind of property, you don't go public with that because, you know, people find out it's the government and prices skyrocket.
Oh, so you're protecting us from ourselves. Honestly, you're protecting, I've heard this excuse before with other projects, and I just am disgusted as a citizen to know what we've been promised for years, that all the citizens can agree we all at some time need a police officer, or a deputy, or a sheriff. We are all at some point, unfortunately, engaged with our EMTs and fire.
Until you see what the budget is, you're speculating.
You're short $2.8 million plus the cost of the ambulance you promised us. And you're considering cutting the ambulance you promised us. But you won't deprive 200 people of the facility. I'm not going to take your time, any more of your time, but I'm sitting here listening to them they need to retain their employees. They need to give increase things that attract employees. They need to keep us safe. But let us play sports, you know. Let us play some sports. Hope they don't ever need an ambulance when they have an injury.
Well, there's no point in me continuing.
No, that's all to say. I just sitting here listening to it all, giving a suggestion that maybe you could use that $4.1 million, which you've obviously spent ahead of this, to say, oh, that money's not there, Sheriff. Sorry, you can't have that. Oh, Mr. Bryant, sorry, you can't have it. It's not available anymore. That's what I'm listening to.
As far as I'm concerned, once we put that money in a special account for this, and we promised people we were gonna do that too. We told them that we would build the recreational facility the same way we built the swimming pool. We'd put money aside, you know, in every budget for it. We'd save up for it. That's what, in terms of where we are now, that's what's been done. The money that's been spent, this is not SPLOST money that we're talking about here. This is money we put back in the budget every year for recreation. Now, I agree with you in terms of public safety. We've got to make sure that we maintain public safety. Until you see the final budget, you can't say that we're not. I know you are of that opinion now, but you're speculating. We don't know what we're going to do here. We're trying to work it out, you know, and one way or another we will work it out. But
Well, you have to have a balanced budget. You're going to have to balance the budget. But what that looks like at the end of it should not look like our publics, those who serve our community, not receiving the much needed funds and what you promised them and what you promised us. You don't
Let me just say.
renege on that.
Because you read it in the paper, don't mean.
You said it in the paper. I'm reading your quotes in the paper.
And if I said we're gonna take care of public safety, if you ask me right now, we're gonna take care of it, my answer is yes.
What about, so we're not getting the ambulance though, you were promised?
We haven't decided that yet.
He's having to give up he's having to offer it as a sacrifice to get money to keep his employees. So that you can have a $4 million facility that 250 people in this county want.
First of all, there's more than 250 people in this county.
250 people that have showed up at a meeting that wanted it.
You know, we did hire a third-party firm to decide, to actually determine how much demand there was for this, and they did surveys and everything else, so we're not going by strictly who showed up at a meeting. We're also hired a professional outfit to come in, do surveys, and tell us how much demand there is, and there's a lot. Everybody that has children that they want to play in sports, everybody that has grandchildren that they want to be able to play in sports. This is as important to them as roads, for instance. I don't know what to say. Government is a balancing act. You know, everybody gets something. Now, everybody didn't get everything they want, but we try to give something to everybody. And in this case, there is a large, not just who shows up at a meeting, there is a large demand for recreation for the young kids, for people's sons and daughters, grandsons and granddaughters.
Nobody has, I don't think at any point I've said no recreation center for children. I said that the way that it's been done has been behind closed doors, been kept from the public, and we've not been made part of it. And the information you've conducted a study. Didn't tell them, that's the first time I'm hearing about it. You've allocated funds, you've begun that process, the first time I'm hearing about it. So this is not, how inclusive could this study have been done if a person like myself who attends all these meetings is not privy to that information? I'm not upset for myself. I'm upset for the people of Gilmer County who sold a bill of goods, and that's not being delivered on. And I don't have a problem with kids
And I
having
will
parks
say
and rec
also,
facilities.
some of this money is restricted from short-term rental. So we can't just put some of this money in the general fund. It has to be used for tourism product development. So we are restricted in some of this fund that we've set aside each year to go towards that rec center, towards this product development that tourists can use, but mostly our citizens can use it. And it's not just youth, it's seniors, it's the whole community that will be able to use it. So it's not just money that we could just pull and give to.
All right, well, our job here is to come up with a budget that protects public safety and provides services that people want, like recreation. That's what we're trying to do, and this is a process. We're not even close to being finished with it yet.
You're not voting on this tomorrow night?
What?
Are you voting, when are you voting on to adopt the final budget?
We don't.
Oh, as long as we do it before January 1st. And there's been years we didn't get it done by January 1st. In that case, we just keep working under the terms of the old budget until the new one's in place. But January 1st is the target date.
When will we see cost figures for this recreation center as far as renovations, total acquisitions, operational
I can
costs?
give you total acquisitions right now. In terms of the renovation, we don't know that yet. What we do know is it's going to be millions of dollars less expensive than if we just go out and build one.
But at the same time, we're running only 3 ambulances in Gilmer County, 50% of the time.
I'm so tired of hearing that. We haven't decided that.
This from your deputy chief.
And there was a suggestion and a comment that he made. Until you see an improved 2026 budget, nothing counts. Until you see it, until it is an improved budget. Right now, what we're doing is we're trying to figure out how we can get the most for the most people, for the least money. And that is a process, and we're going through that process. We don't anticipate it being completed until close to the first of the year. You're jumping in the middle and screaming and carrying on about you're losing an ambulance and so forth. There's going to be a lot of things that are mentioned here that never make it into the 26 budget. We're looking at all possibilities here, and we shouldn't have to not be able to discuss something because it's going to get y'all all in a tizzy.
You did a public survey 20 months ago about Parks and Rec. And what do we want as citizens in Gilmer County? We as citizens of Gilmer County have never seen that. Now, the Parks,
You haven't seen it because at the same time that was being done, we were looking for other alternatives. And it has taken us this long to get to the alternative that we finally made the decision on and were able to do today.
who besides the 3 members of the commission have been involved?
No one, because no one else needed to be. That was a decision that needed to be made by this board.
When was this decision made by the board? Have you done all of this in executive sessions? It seems like all of a sudden this has come to a head right about SPLOST, but somehow some consensus was reached well beyond this recent rush of meetings.
Anytime real estate or real estate purchase is being considered, it will be discussed in executive session. It would be foolish to come into a public meeting and start talking about, we're thinking about buying the Fab Tech building. Now, I don't think in this case that you know, the price would necessarily shot up, but it's very general practice for government and large businesses to not publicly discuss potential real estate purchases. This is not something new with Gilmer County. This is most any county you go to, certainly most any business. If in my time with AT&T, if I'd gone public with some potential purchase that we were looking at, I'd have been out on the street in a heartbeat.
When Gilmer County residents, voters, cast their ballots 8 days ago, they had no idea you were 8 days away from a building acquisition.
We didn't either 8 days ago. But like I say, this has been a continuing process.
For how long?
I don't know, for a year, 2 years.
Long time.
We've been trying to figure out how we can do this for less money than what we're being told that it will cost us. To be honest with you, a couple of years ago when we first started talking about this, I thought we'd probably build one for $4 million. Didn't know where we were going to get $4 million, but that's what I thought. Then I was told, no, we're looking at more like 10 million. And then, no, we're looking at more like 15 million. What we're looking at is how can we mitigate that? What can we do that will get this for the people of Gilmer County and save some money? And when we talk about this has been a continuing process for a couple of years, I don't mean that this particular purchase has been going on or being considered for a couple of years. I mean the concept. What can we do to get this done that would be cheaper but have the same result? And this is what we came away with, and it is going to be cheaper and it is going to give the same result.
Significant.
And the acquisition cost of the building is how much?
3.4 million.
3.4 million. And how much from SPLOST is envisioned to go into this project?
Whatever the renovation would be that it would take to turn that into it. And we don't know what that's going to be yet. We do know that it's gonna be substantially less than going out and building one.
Thank you for your answers.
Now, what I would suggest is we do just what you mentioned, let's sleep on this and let's look at it again and let's schedule another meeting. And see what we can do to protect public safety.
And in the meantime, can we find out where Patrick put the 5 and the 3? You know, if you did 5% across the board, then we can look there.
And you and I need to talk about workers' comp. Let's look at that. That won't be much, but that's something.
Okay, well,
Any thoughts on when the next meeting should be?
I'd say give us at least a week, 10 days to kind of go over this stuff and come up with some other ideas.
Including the week of Thanksgiving, probably what we need.
I can, I mean, I'm here.
Thanksgiving morning, you're gonna break the turkey? Break the turkey in the dressing, there you go.
I'm here that Monday, Tuesday, Thanksgiving week, I'm fine.
Okay.
I would be okay with one of those 2 days.
John, are you around the week of Thanksgiving? Monday, Tuesday before?
Yeah.
Are you out of town?
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday, you're here,
I'm here, but not Monday.
so possibly the 25th?
Tuesday, Wednesday before Thanksgiving, yes.
You wanna check your calendar, Charlie, about the 25th?
I'm good. If that's Tuesday, I'm good.
Okay.
We'll plan that.
Y'all wanna do morning or afternoon?
Good morning. Too fresh.
Nine?
No.
That works.
Can I say that?
If you must.
Yes.
Y'all know that I have been sheriff 21 years. So during that time period, my kids grew up. They came through Park and Rec, played school ball, and now they're all, adults. And I've always been a big supporter of Park and Rec. And I've always come to this table willing to sit down and not negotiate the needs, but negotiate the wants of what we need in the sheriff's office. And I feel like that not just this board, but this board absolutely, and every board prior to has always done their best and been fair. Having said all that, and I do not say this to kiss up to you three at the end of the table, and I do not say this to try to stir y'all up in the corner. I say this because I mean it. I'm elated that y'all have been able to provide a facility for the youth of this county. And we'll do everything we can do I will always provide the citizens with the best that we can muster as law enforcement. But I am elated that y'all have been able to do this, and it's as big a surprise to me as it is to everybody else, but I'm happy about it. And look forward to working with y'all at the next meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate it.